Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview for the live letter at Chokaigi. This was an event that not a lot of people knew went on, and that's because it happened at a Nico Nico event over in Japan. For those of you wondering why that makes it so hard to find out about it, it's because they're not allowed to stream it on YouTube or Twitch or anything. So there wasn't a lot of information to come out of this live letter, since it was pretty hard for it to reach the public outside of a few really dedicated fans. Now, when we were doing this live letter, we had an unofficial translation done by our very own Marco. He's got his own translation corner on our Dream Network forum, so if you're looking for translations at any given time, even if they're just coming from the Japanese dev posts, you can go check out that forum. It will be in the description of the video below. Now, there were two separate live letters here. Both were about an hour in length, in fact, a little bit shorter than that. And for the majority of this time, they just spoke about the benchmark and showed off the benchmark. They showed off the character creation for the male and female ARRs, and of course they showed off the trailer that the benchmark actually shows off. Now, the trailer itself can be seen on Final Fantasy XIV's YouTube page, and of course if you download the benchmark itself, when it's telling you how good your computer is, it'll be playing the trailer with either your character created ARR or whoever, or just the default character in the Dragoon armor. Now, of course, the big thing that we always want these live letter videos for, these translations for, is the Q&A section. And the Q&A here just really wasn't all that much, but we did get a few tidbits of information. For example, we found out item level 130 is actually a pretty high starting item level going into the expansion leveling process. Now, that's not to say it's going to last you until 60, but it will at least last you past level 51. Don't expect to be replacing that Dreadworm gear or that upgraded Poetics gear with the very first pieces of gear you pick up at level 51. I'd guess it'd probably be around level 54 or 55, but at that point, it's speculation. Other than that, they just spoke about some of the new jobs and some of the things about the existing jobs. For example, we found out there are going to be more than 2 new abilities for existing jobs, which is good news, obviously, and that the quest for those jobs won't just be every 5 levels anymore. They're actually completely changing the way that the class and job ability gaining system seems to work. For example, classes themselves won't be gaining abilities anymore, at least not through the leveling process. All new abilities are going to be gotten through quests. So that doesn't necessarily mean there won't be new class abilities, just that they may be more quest related than than just leveling related. Don't expect to hit level 52 and just get a new ability. You're going to have to go earn it. And apparently there's enough new abilities, however many that ends up being, that there will be new rotations for existing jobs. Now, new rotation doesn't necessarily mean the old ones are going to be completely out, but that you will need to work on some things and learn on where to fit these new abilities. And of course, with that is also going to be some adjustments to the current skills. So there's going to be a lot of balancing with these new abilities coming in, and there's going to be apparently enough changes for certain jobs to completely change the way it feels like they're playing. I don't know how much I believe that, but they specifically said that summoners and black mages will see very big changes. Summoners seem to be the one that they put a lot more emphasis on, but black mages were also thrown into that. So if you're a summoner or a black mage, expect to have some significant changes. Your eggies probably won't look any different, but at least your job will play a little bit different. Also, regarding the existing jobs, now we're going to talk about the new jobs. So there was some pretty clear things that they wanted to say here. For example, there's going to be no level 50 relic or zodiac weapons for the new jobs. This was kind of expected because they want you to get those new jobs and they want you to just go into the expansion kind of. And with the translation floating around that you will need to complete patch 2.55 story to even unlock the new jobs, it seems pretty evident that you don't really need to stop and do the relic quest at all. You just go into the Heavensward areas and be donezo. They are going to be nerfing the old Zodiac questline for the old jobs, just for glamour purposes, just so it's something that you can go out of your way to get if you really like the look of it. That's a hell of a glamour to be doing. The new jobs, however, will have primal weapons, Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, so that's something to look forward to, I suppose. I guess that's because it's kind of mandatory to have it done. I guess, regardless, they'll have new primal weapons. Pre-50, by the way, they spoke about what the new jobs, what gear they'll be using, but they very specifically said this is sort of what they're just going to be using pre-50. Machinists will use Bard gear, Dark Knights will use Tank gear, and Astrologians will use the standard Healer gear. And the reason why it's important that it's pre-50, it's almost like the way Ninja was implemented, where they just threw Dexterity on top of Monk gear. So even though they were using Monk gear from the old content, they had their own gear sets later on. So we may see something similar to that with the new jobs as well. We didn't find out what their main stats will be, although with that kind of gear, you know, you can almost figure it out, but they've, like I said, with the whole Ninja Monk thing, they've surprised us before. Main staff for the new jobs is going to be revealed in May at a live letter that's going to be taking place. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. Going to be increasing our retainer capacity. There's going to be more retainers, more specifically. So yay, probably another $2 that we'll have to spend in order to get it. But hey, at least it's some sort of effort. The company Chocobo rank cap will be lifted above 20, which means that we'll probably see some new abilities as well, since after rank 20, they're still too dumb to do anything. We still can't queue with them, so it doesn't even matter. Don't even worry about it. There's going to be practice modes for raids. We knew this already, but they just wanted to reassure us that it is in the works. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ability to tackle a specific phase of a fight and learn it, even if you can't actually reach that phase. Like, oh, it takes us 10 minutes to get to the 5th phase of this fight. Oh man, it's going to be so hard to practice that we have to get there every time, and then we still have to beat it and be learning. And yeah, there's actually going to be a practice mode. I don't know if that's for Alexander Savage or just Alexander Normal, but they have a practice mode in the works. 2-player chocobos will be able to fly, so the draught chocobo and the one you get from marrying somebody, so those will be able to fly. Wolves Den changes are going to be coming sometime after the expansion launch, so please look forward to not caring about that either. Hopefully they're good and we end up caring, but I'll play the pessimist for the time being. There's going to be a new Gold Saucer event in 3.1, a brand new one in addition to what we currently have, as well as adjustments to the Gold Saucer throughout the expansion. You know, adjustments to the current stuff like new Triple Triad cards, potentially new racing tracks, maybe new mini games, new gates. Any of that stuff is up for grabs. The new 24-man raid will be coming in 3.1. This seems like a surprise to some people. I mean, with the way they've done the patches before, it seemed normal to me. But just so you know, the new 24-man will be in 3.1. However, they wanted to clarify the floating continent is not that raid, which has been a lot of people's speculation, including my own. It is indeed just an area, and it is not the raid. On top of that, they just had a bunch of small announcements, you know, no current plans for DX12, you know, there's going to be a Dark Knight mount like there is a Paladin and a Warrior mount. They're working on the party UI showing TP. They're working on Eternal Bond partners being able to share houses. They're working on the, well, you can transfer your UI from Windows to Mac if for some reason you're going to be switching from Windows to Mac, or if you own both. They're making new, don't know why I stuttered there. They're making new UI options for showcasing your buffs and debuffs on a target. So that's going to be nice. Some more adjustable things on a player per player basis. And level 50 content is going to have a level 50 sync. They specifically gave an example, like it would be weird for a level 50 tank to try and hold aggro off of a level 60 DPS. But we know that there is the ability to do things without the cap. There is a checkbox for that. So, that's going to be, oh no, it's not even that. It's just that you're going to be able to enter solo. So there's going to be a few options with the Duty Finder being added overall in the expansion. And that was it. That's all we got. That quick Q&A, those few little answers, and that was it. They were basically just taking questions from the crowd, and whatever the crowd had to ask, that's what they responded with. There were some questions regarding the benchmark as they were showing it off, but honestly, if you want to see the benchmark, you can download it. Check out my video on it if you can't download it for whatever reason, and that there shouldn't be anything that's a mystery there. They did have a few announcements. For example, in Japan, there is going to be a Heavensward Edition PlayStation 4. And of course, Japan gets all the cool stuff, so don't expect that to come over here. There's a Final Fantasy XIV TV channel. Season 1 apparently happened sometime last year, and some people say it's hilarious what happens on the Final Fantasy XIV TV show or channel, whatever it is. Season 2 is going to be starting soon in May, so if you're someone in Japan who watches that, tell me how it is. Marco and a few other people say they know about it, or some people say they've seen it, and it's pretty funny, but I don't know. And also, there's going to be a feature on a Game Club esports channel. I don't know that that esports channel only does esports stuff, but there is going to be a Final Fantasy XIV feature on there as well. And finally, the Live Letter 21, the next major live letter that we'll all get to share, is going to be mid-May. They didn't actually tell us the exact day, but the good news for some of us is it's broadcast from France, so expect it to be at a half-decent hour instead of having to wake up at 4 to 7 a.m. Eastern or Pacific, depending on where you live, of course. So that's it. That was the live letter from Nico Nico Chokaigi. Hopefully there was some information here that at least made you go, hey, that's cool. You know, hopefully something here that was actually nice for you, especially regarding the new abilities, the lack of a Zodiac weapon for the new jobs at level 50. Keep in mind, level 60 is a totally different aspect. We don't know much about that yet, so just stay tuned, and well, we'll get more Heavensward information. But thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and I will see you guys in the next one. And until then, take care.